Cheers! It is a new year and a new episode of Sippin With Sin. That's right, the podcast is back. We've been on a small hiatus, small break after the holiday season, getting recovered, rejuvenating, and ready to take on 2023 with our first episode of 2023. And I can't even talk. We have a new layout for those that are on YouTube. Check it out. New little fancy, dancy. We're in a bar and shit, you know? That's pretty cool. But welcome back. Happy to have you back for another episode. And with that being said, we have another new thing for 2023, and that is we get to finally see Christian's beautiful face. Let's welcome our one and only, our esteemed colleague, Christian.
What's up, everyone?
Oh, you can see his face. Hot damn, it's a miracle.
The long-awaited face reveal is finally here, and I hope I have disappointed you all.
Some say this is bigger than Dream's face reveal. Do you even know who Dream is? Do you have any clue what I'm talking about?
I don't.
Dream is...
I have no idea who that is.
Hold on. Before I misspeak and sound like an idiot, he is a huge YouTuber, and I think he's a Minecraft player? American YouTuber. Hold up. Let's see. Dream is... What the hell does he play? Yeah, it looks like Minecraft. I'm going to say Minecraft. But he's been like no face reveal or wearing like stuff forever, and he finally did a face reveal last year, I think. He is a American YouTuber, Twitch streamer, known primarily for creating Minecraft content. So yeah, there you go. Some say this is bigger than the Dream reveal. Some people have said that.
I like that a lot, actually.
Do you like that?
I do.
Okay. Well, it's 2023. We got a new layout, so YouTube, you're welcome. You get a little more fancy instead of just my ugly mug. Full cam and static image of Christian. You actually get to see him in real time whenever he gets good and pissed off. You know, when we talk about like Corey Cunningham and stuff like that, we can get him all riled up.
Listen.
We haven't even made it 3 minutes into the face reveal, and we're already trying to piss him off and see what we can get him like stirred up.
I definitely have words about Corey Cunningham and Halloween Ends, but not the time. It's not the time. Okay. I'll wait. It's not the time. I got you. I'll wait.
Okay. All right. Well, we have been missing. We've missed 2 weeks. 2 weeks without a new episode. 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Took a little break around the holidays. We had recorded a couple of we were ahead, so took a little break. You know, family time, stuff like that. I've been using it as a hiatus, as like a mental break. So it's been good. It's needed.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot for sure.
Content creation in this sphere, or just in general, and then holidays on top of any workload and everything, like afterwards is definitely, you're just exhausted, you know? And so starting the new year, we wanted to start fresh and charge up, and we're back. We're back just in time because in a few days, The Last of Us starts. And I know that will be something we'll be discussing pretty heavy on the podcast. I personally am very excited. I have avoided reviews and will continue to avoid reviews because I do not want to be... I don't want my judgment clouded. I don't want their thoughts ringing in my ears when I'm watching the episode. I want to go in with just what I know, and that's the content from the games. Did see, though, I don't know if you saw this, Christian, but they're saying that season 1 will be the first game, which I don't know how I feel about that, because I feel like you could have got maybe 2 seasons out of the first game, because the first game is 20 hours, and you could have easily.
Well, obviously, the thing is, like, if you cut out from the game itself, from the story, if you cut out the travel time in the game, just getting back and forth to where you need to get, it cuts it down a lot. And then if you also cut out the trial and error, right? Because the first time you play the game is going to be the longest time most of the time, because that's when you're still figuring it out and you're getting new stuff. You have to do that. And then like crafting shit and all that. So I think once they kind of have that around, it makes sense to me. Also, here's the thing for me, and I'll say this quickly and then I'll be done. They need 2 to 3 seasons of this show, and that's it. And the reason why I say that is because Last of Us is beloved by many of us, and the story we don't want to be changed. We don't want anything to look unlike it did look in the game. So if you can get in and do this story like it is in the game, which is the right way, and then tell the story the way that it's supposed to be told, at least to us, the fans, then you only need a couple seasons of a show to do that, because you only need so many hours to tell that story. And once that story is told, you're done. Get out while the getting is good, and we're solid. So that's what I want. And not to even bring up other stuff, but like, we all know at this point now that there are other shows based off of video games that are in the works that we want to see. But like, with that said, we only want so much of it because, one, we don't want it to get oversaturated. We don't want them to do it wrong. We want the story to be tight and solid. And people nowadays prefer tight, solid stories over something that is drawn out 8 seasons and, loses touch with its core audience.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, didn't they say they're not going to make stuff outside of the game content? Like, they're not going to be like adding to it. They're just pretty much going to go solely off of that, which they will take liberties, I guess. There'll be slight deviations, I'm sure, to make television stuff, but they're sticking pretty true to the game content. And what little bit I've seen, like tiny little clips, like not clips of the show, but like tiny like review thumbnail things, have said it pretty much stays very true to the game, which is what I want. Just literally put it in live action, the story of the game. That's it. Don't go crazy and just let it be that. I'm really excited that Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker are in it. And if you don't know who they are the voices of Ellie and of Joel. They're actually the actual voice actors have roles in it. What they're doing, I don't know. But it's cool that they're actually there. And I think it's cool because they can probably actually help. Oh my God, what's their names? Pedro and Bella with their roles. What they did for the voice acting stuff.
Mandalorian himself.
Do what? Yeah, the Mandalorian's in Last of Us. You didn't know that, did you? Just Star Wars jumped into Last of Us. You got Star Wars, and you have Game of Thrones. Both of them. You have the Sand Snake, and you have Mormont. Oh my God, what is her name? What was her name?
I don't remember. I'm not gonna even pretend.
She was a badass though in Game of Thrones. I loved her character. She was spunky. So I'm excited for her to be Ellie. But I'm really excited. So we'll be talking about that next week. That will probably be one of our main topics. So hopefully everybody out there is excited for the Game of Thrones. Jesus, for Last of Us, and hopefully it doesn't disappoint.
You're gonna get there. It's gonna happen.
Do what?
I said you're gonna get there.
Yeah, I'll get to where we need to get to eventually. I do have a small prediction, and I have 2 theories on how it's going to go. They're either going to do, if anybody's played Last of Us, you know what I'm going to, like the opening scene, Joel's opening, like when the apocalypse happened.
Oh God!
Yeah, they're either going to do that for the pilot episode to like really hit you in the gut and like force in like this show's about to be powerful. Or they're going to do breaking segments throughout and maybe do it near the end where it shows like what happened to him. I kind of want it to start like that because the start of the game, you're like, oh shit, it's about to get real. And it's fantastic.
Here's the thing. And I don't mean to like hop in this because I know this is like your thing, but I understand completely why any studio would want to start the show off kind of in the sauce and then do flashbacks, because that's kind of like the formula that we've had for shows for so long. But if I'm being honest, you do not get better than what we got in the game, which is starting you off at this point when everything starts happening. You get that scene with Joel, and then I mean, what else is left? So when you come into the story, before you meet Ellie and whatnot, like, I think we need that. And if they're honestly making this show for the fans, then why wouldn't you start the show off the same way you started the game? You know what I mean?
I'm trying to figure out what the runtime is, because you could seriously do 30 minutes of the from like the show like comes on air. 30-40 minutes of it could literally be Joel's introduction to it.
Do you know how many? Do you know how many episodes it's supposed to be?
You go into the rest, kind of like the game does.
Do you know how many episodes it's supposed to be?
I do not. How many episodes? It says 9 right here. Whether or not that's
9.
true,
So
I don't know.
So if there are 9 episodes, I think the first episode just needs to be.
Well, I feel like you have to introduce Ellie though in the first episode. Do you not?
don't. No, you don't. You absolutely don't. You absolutely don't. And the reason why I say that is because if they start off the very first episode with the beginning of the game, the epilogue, if you will, the prelude, excuse me, then we get all the time we need with Pedro Pascal or with Joel to really understand what his character is, who his character is, his motivations, all of that. We learn everything we need to know about him. And then the rest of the show, we have to either learn about Ellie or them both. And then the second season, we've already spent, 9 hours with both of these characters. So when the second season comes up, we're just pumped for the rest of the story. So I think that if they're really trying to hit us in our soul, they're really trying to get good reactions out of this, if they really want it to be told the way that I think it should be told, I'm saying first episode should be the very first part of the game. Second episode should be when we meet Ellie. That's what I think. I think that'd be the most impactful. I don't know. I haven't screened these episodes. I don't know what it looks like. I purposely have stayed away from a couple of the people who have seen the episodes just because I didn't want it to get ruined for me. And fun fact, I never finished all of the games. So the ending of the season is going to be...
Which one did you finish? Did you finish the first one?
Yeah, I finished the first one, but I didn't finish the second one. I didn't finish Last of Us 2.
How far did you get?
And in the first one?
Second one.
In the second one, I didn't get very far because I didn't have a system to play the game. So I was literally just playing it elsewhere, at a buddy's house. And then by the time I got a system to play it, I had already moved on to other things. And I didn't want to go back at this point because they kept re-releasing Last of Us 1. Like I have like 4 copies of Last of Us at this point and not Last of Us 2. So it's really annoying. So I was just trying to wait and get them all at the same time on a deal, just because there's so many games. We'll get into it later. But back to the story.
Last of Us Part 2 is going to be forever tainted for me, just because that's when I got the news that Mixer's shutting down while playing it, while I was having just a great time, just balls deep in the story, really enjoying it. I was so excited, and then I get news, oh, by the way, this platform you've been grinding and you're partnering with, essentially you're now homeless and you lost your job. Congratulations. And I was like, oh shit, that's awesome. Way to ruin my game. So it's always going to be tainted, but God, that game was emotional. I am a huge fan of the Last of Us series. I would say Last of Us has to be easily in my top 10 favorite games of all time, probably top 5.
Look, I'm going to write it down right now because I legitimately want to know what your top 10 favorite games are, and I think that should be a topic that we go over. So I'm going to write it down now so that we...
See, if we do that, though, I'm going to have a problem because I don't know. I tend to lump series together. The Resident Evil series is going to be up there for me.
Well, that's the... Okay, so hold on.
But then again, though, I could pick which Resident Evil games are my favorite over... Obviously, 6 is not going to be in my top 10.
Well, here's the thing. So I got you. Don't even worry.
That'll be a good topic. I'm all for that. That's a really good topic.
Topic 1. Later on, and I'm saying it here so that all the listeners, all the watchers, that we're going to do it. There's going to be an episode where we talk about our top 10 favorite games of all time, and there'll be another topic where we talk about our top 10 favorite game series of all time, not necessarily games themselves, but game series. So that for an example, if you are really big into FIFA, you don't have to tell us which FIFA. You just say FIFA, the series as a whole. Just so we know. FIFA's not one of my favorites, just so we know that.
I'm not big into soccer,
that's out
so
there.
That doesn't...
Right. But for an example, and this may be a tiny bit of a spoiler, but I fucking love Guitar Hero. What's up? I went blurry, is that what you said?
No, I said Leisure Suit Larry.
Leisure Suit Larry. Got you. I'm just kidding. No. But seriously, I love Guitar Hero. I don't like all of them. I really don't like all of the Guitar Heroes, but I do love Guitar Hero. So that as a series, absolutely up there.
Have you ever played Clone Hero?
I've seen people play it through Twitch. I haven't played it myself.
I don't want to knock a bunch of stuff over. I literally have the Explorer Guitar Hero from, was it Guitar Hero 3, I think? Right here beside me, because I've been playing, I'm setting up Clone Hero to possibly do some Clone Hero streams where we go. And I will tell you, from when I played Guitar Hero a lot, like Guitar Hero 3 and shit, to now, your boy's skills have dropped off. I'm like, God dang, my arm's hurting. I'm like, this stuff is hard as shit right now.
We're also a lot older. Back then, you remember back when the Guitar
Also,
Hero 3 came out, we could stay up. We could stay up for like 2 days.
Rough.
Remember, we could stay up for like 2 days without sleeping, but like more than 2-3 hours. But now, if you don't get fucking at least 6 hours of sleep, you can't even like open. You're, you know what I'm saying? You're all jacked up. So we can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I've downloaded. There's like a whole thing. You can get like all the Guitar Hero songs. You can get like Rock Band songs. You can get DJ Hero, Band Hero, and then there's like people actually chart their own songs. So I got like Polyphia and stuff.
Oh man,
that shit's hard.
Here's the thing: when you start playing Clone Hero like that, let me know. I'll be in those streams. I'll figure it out. But I will be in those streams, cheering you on, making requests, all that. I'm excited for you.
That's something I'm wanting to do in 2023. Like, since we're kind of on like the New Year stuff, kind of bridging towards what we're getting to. But I'm wanting to implement more music content. And so what I mean by that is like Clone Hero. I feel like it'll be fun to me to suck and try to get back decent at playing Guitar Hero, like Clone Hero stuff on stream. Let people request, like figure out a cool system for that where people can request so we can do stuff. Goof off, kind of vibe out to that because it's like a chill, fun game. And then I also want to do music streams. And what that is like, say Christian comes in the stream and he like, if he's a sub or you're not a sub or whatever, we'll have like a whole system, but we'll have like a queue where you can do like a song request. And then I guess it's probably a YouTube video. And then I'll just pretty much have that on stream and watch it and react to it. And we can get exposed to like all types of music and react to it. I think that could be really fun and really chill. It's essentially like a just chatting, but very music oriented.
I mean, I think that exactly. Like I said, sign me up when you're down, when you're ready for that. Let me know, and I'm there. I got you.
And then your boy's got the itch. I've been kind of wanting to do some metal stuff again, like some vocals on stuff. Of
course. It doesn't go away, man. Like you can definitely calm down on it and do a bit less and, start a family, raise a family, all that. But metal doesn't die in your soul, bro. No, that fire is still.
I miss playing. Like I've been hanging out a lot. So during the break, since we're finally getting to what we're talking about, during the break, I've been watching a lot of Twitch music streams, like a lot of musicians on there. And you would be surprised how freaking many from the like the scene that we either played with or we went and saw, and you probably saw way more than me since you were actually right there in the midst of it in Nashville, because you were pretty much every weekend. I feel like you were at one of the venues. But God, dude, like Joshua Travis, trying to think, guitar player for Fallujah, I think, is on there. The vocalist Telly from Word Alive, Samus, who else have been watching? Nice. Andy Sizik, who's the vocalist for Monuments and Termina, Nick Nocturnal. I keep finding people literally. Adam Oceano, dude is
yeah.
He's
Adam's great.
Yeah, he's a really good dude, and he's awesome vocalist. Dude's really diverse too. He's been doing EDM stuff, kind of like our good friend Will. Doing kind of like metal EDM crossover, which is really dope and works.
Yeah, you mean Coffin?
Yeah,
and then also he has another project called Empty Blue as well. But
he doesn't do like harsh.
He's a machine,
though,
man.
On
he's
Empty
a machine. He literally doesn't stop. Like every single time I get in touch with him, he is working. He's putting in the time. That dude is a machine. I don't think he sleeps, to be honest.
He's a really good musician, though. We need to. Hopefully, you guys out there would like that. I would like to get him on the podcast and just talk with him one day. It could be really fun. But he's awesome. Okay, so that's kind of So what have we been doing this episode? Instead of doing our normal having segments and everything, we've missed a couple of weeks, and so what we're gonna do is what we've been watching, listening to, reading, playing. All that stuff lately is essentially what we're going to do. We're going to catch you up where we are thus far in 2023 and how we ended 2022, what we've been into, what we've been doing. And we're just going to kind of talk about that for this episode. So again, welcome. Happy to have you here. And I guess I'll start. Me and the missus have a show that we watch. Actually, Christian, do you have shows that you guys watch every year? Like a show you have to rewatch?
She does. I don't necessarily have a show that I need to rewatch every year, and that's because I am the one in my friend group, in my relationships, like excuse me, I'm the one who always finds new stuff to watch or recommends new shit to watch. So like I'm constantly grabbing more stuff. I'm in my free time, I'll rewatch something. Like, last year when we were doing the pod, like I was talking about rewatching Smallville and stuff like that. Like I'll do that in my own time, but together I'm always trying to like bring up new stuff.
Okay.
Keep it fresh.
So we watch Entourage probably once a year. Like for sure, once a year. We love that show. We'll watch the entire.
You've been talking about that show since we've known each other, for sure.
I'll watch
that
all the seasons, and then now they have a movie which is perfect. It's literally as perfect of a series movie as you can make. It is just like the show. So if you love the show, you'll love the movie. But then we watch the show, then we'll watch the movie. Trying to think what's another one. Every few years we'll go through like a different show that we really liked. Like this year, I haven't watched Breaking Bad probably since we watched it, me and her. But we're actually watching Better Call Saul right now. So we're, I think, season 3. I don't know. We're watching Better Call Saul, which is our first time watching it, and then we're going into Breaking Bad as like something just to rewatch because it was a great show. But one of the ones that we try to watch every year, and I think we actually missed a year, is Californication. But luckily this year, your boy come through and got the missus her complete collection of Californication for Christmas. So now she has it. And we rewatched Californication in super fast fashion because they're 30-minute episodes and you can fly through them, and it's a great show. It makes you want to be a writer and drink whiskey. Can't lie.
They're only 30 minutes? I thought they were longer than that.
No, Californication is short. It stars David Duchovny, who I absolutely love. I'm a big fan of David Duchovny. I do like him a lot. I actually have even read the book. Do what?
What's something else that you like him in?
X-Files?
You're goddamn right.
You didn't think I knew anything he was in? What? He was also in, what is it? It's like a sign. It's not Aries? No. Hold up. Damn, what is it called? Aquarius. There we go.
Yeah, he was in that.
Yeah. X-Files is what he's most known for, though.
Forever ago?
Do what?
Do you remember that? You remember the Alien movie that he's in? What's it called? It was based off of, what was that movie called? Evolution. Remember Evolution?
I see it right here. Yeah, I haven't seen that, actually.
What? Oh, Jesus.
Is it good?
It's probably, here's the thing. I'm speaking from nostalgia right now. That movie's probably garbage, but when I was a kid, I used to love that movie.
I mean,
I don't want to lie to you and say it's good and it's trash because it might be.
I wonder where I can watch it at. I'll watch it. It's from 2001. It has Julianne Moore in it. Sean William Scott, Orlando Jones. Good God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the cast was stacked with all the best 2000s people. Oh, by the way, watchers,
like it's on Stars.
Oh, damn, I don't have Stars. I don't know if you do.
Stars.
But like watchers, you keep seeing me look down. Like I have a notepad right here for notes, and I also have my phone because I'm technically not off work right now. So you gotta make that money, bro. So that's why I keep looking down. I'm constantly doing stuff. But yeah, man.
Anyways,
I haven't seen that.
David Duchovny, most known for X-Files. Californication is fantastic. It has fun fact. I don't know why I never thought about this, and why I never put it together. Ezra Miller's in Californication. A very young Ezra Miller. Did you know that?
Damn. I did not. I haven't seen all of Californication.
Yeah.
It was never available for me to watch, so I always had to like watch scenes of it when I was at somebody else's house, or like I forget. Was it on Netflix at a certain time?
Yeah, it used to be on Netflix. That's how we used to watch it. Because when we watched it for the first time, it was way after I think it had ended. Like it had been done, right. I believe. And yeah, that's when we got into it. So we used to watch the whole thing.
Got you.
But we watched it. Super fun. Like I said, makes you want to drink bourbon. It makes you want to write stuff. I have in the first season. It's about he's wrote a book called God Hates Us All, and it's turned into a romantic comedy called Crazy Little Thing Called Love with Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes. And I actually have that book and I've read it, and it literally sounds like David Duchovny. It's funny, like when you read something he's wrote, it sounds like him, kind of how even he acts, like how he talks, how he has like that, I guess his delivery and stuff. Yeah, so it's a fun read. I've read that, and I actually read another book recently that he did. I read it with my son. I don't know if it was necessarily a great thing to read to him, but I can't even remember what the hell it's called. Something about a cow. It was a weird story. Oh, Holy Cow. That's what it's called. Holy Cow.
All right. So what else you been doing?
Okay.
Catching
so
up
Californication.
on
We binged through that. We're doing Better Call Saul now, going into Breaking Bad. Ready for Last of Us.
Okay.
I've watched a couple movies. One of them, the first one I'll get into, actually was one that I hadn't heard of. And the missus has been waiting on for a while because she's a huge fan of Dune. And apparently she really likes Timothy...
Chalamet?
What's his name?
Timothy Chalamet.
There you go. That guy. Or Paul. We'll just call him Paul, because that's what she calls him all the time. She's like, Paul's in this. And that movie's called Bones and All.
How was that?
Bones and All is weird as shit. So it's based off a book that I think she wants to read. I say it's weird as shit, but it's so weird that I was interested the entire time, if that makes sense. It's like you want to know more, but at the same time, you're like, this is weird as shit. Like, I don't know how to classify what they are. I'm going to call them cannibals. I don't know if that's technically what they are. They eat flesh and people, right? And they...
Sounds terrible.
Yeah. So, Marin is your main character, and essentially she starts dating Lee, which is Paul. I'm going to call him Paul. Timothy Chalamet, whatever the hell his name is. Paul. Or Willy Wonka, whatever you want to call him. Any Willy Wonka?
Yeah, he's going to be, yeah.
Okay. So, she has this urge, and you don't really know at first, like, things are weird with her dad, and then she's, like, hanging out, like, she sneaks out to go have, like, a little, like, slumber party, and it's all fun, and they're, like, under the table, and they're telling each other these secrets and all this stuff, and the other girls are, like, painting their nails, and they're all close. I'm like, oh, so she's got a thing for a friend, maybe they're about to kiss. No, she straight bites this bitch's fingers and rips them out in, like, the flesh, and I was like, oh, shit, that escalated, and then runs outside. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's this kind of movie. Like, lovey-dovey, like, are we gonna kiss? And then she's just like, argh, and just rips them. Vicious.
It's a no for me, dog.
No. So, you go to that, and then she meets this older man at a bus stop, because essentially her dad's like, I'm done with you. Your mom's been gone. I've been running from town to town because you keep having these instances where, like, you essentially bite or try to eat somebody. So I'm done. Here's some money. I'm out. I can't do this anymore. Peace. So he leaves her a tape to listen, like, explaining everything. She gets on a bus, and she goes to where she thinks her mom might be or where they're from. This old man is standing at the bus stop waiting on her. And he says, I smelled you from miles away, which is weird. Like, I don't know how you open that with, like, an 18-year-old girl. Like, I smelled you from miles away.
Yeah, that's a no for me.
So, pretty much find out he's got the same, I guess you can't really call it a disease. They're the same type of being, whatever. And he talks about how you can smell stuff. And he takes her to this house, and there's this old woman dying, like, on the ground, dying. Not because of him, but, like, she's just dying of old age. And, like, she's in her final moments. He's like, can you smell it? And then he's like, you'll know when it happens. We can't do anything yet, but you'll know. And so she goes in her room, and then she wakes up sniffing, and the old woman is passed. And apparently it puts off some kind of aroma for them. They smell it, and they pretty much go and eat her.
Oh, all right.
And then Paul, when she finally meets him, he's also the same way. A little more wild, a little more punkish style. But it's kind of like their love story, but figuring it out, and they meet other eaters, I guess is what we want to call them, in the world. And it's a weird freaking movie, but it's cool because it's different. It's shot really interesting too. Like, the cinematography is really interesting, how they choose to do the scenes and the shots. There's some gore, obviously, because they're eating people, so there's some blood, but it's not like over the top like you would expect with a movie like that. It's very different. I'll say that. But it was interesting. It was an interesting watch. I would watch it again, but it's weird. It's very weird.
It sounds like it.
So I watched that. That's something she was excited for. It's getting, a 6.9 on IMDb, 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 74 on Metacritic. So, I mean, it is what it is.
You think it's worth a watch?
I think it's worth a watch, yeah. Quick little description of it. Love blossoms between a young woman on the margins of society and disenfranchised drifter as they embark on a 3,000-mile odyssey through the back roads of America. However, despite their best efforts, all roads lead back to their terrifying past and a final stand that will determine whether their love can survive the differences. So it's a love story about people who eat people. A cannibal love story. Instead of cannibal holocaust, you have like cannibal love.
That's
What, cannibal holocaust messing you up right now?
No, it just the way that you describe this, it sounds insane.
It's weird, but I will say, I mean, he does a really good job in it. I think the acting is pretty good in it. I don't know. I don't really know. It's worth a watch for sure, I would say. But that's enough of that. We'll move on. Hopefully you get to watch that soon. I would love to discuss it more with you. Pretty much the pieces I said are literally like the first 20 minutes of the movie. I think it's like over a 2-hour movie, around 2 hours. So I'm not giving away a lot. There's a lot that goes on in between there, but that kind of sets up like what you're dealing with. The other thing that I'm waiting on Christian to also watch because he's slacking is The Invitation, but that's something else we've watched because I'd heard pretty good things about it. So I checked it out. It's on Netflix right now. Time of recording this is still on Netflix. And I will say, if you watch the trailer, kind of like Christian, you've seen the trailer because me and you've talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
The trailer pretty much points to them being vampires. No spoiler. Essentially, you see they're probably going to be vampires. So with that being said, I was like, okay, vampires. Essentially, it's called The Invitation. So obviously, they're bringing what was her name in Game of Thrones? Not Melisandre. Was it Melisandre?
No. Melisandre.
That's the red-haired chick, right?
Yeah, it was the woman who died and pissed off Daenerys.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. It starts with an M, does it not?
I'm pretty sure it does.
All right, whatever. It stars her. She's who gets the invitation.
Masande.
Do what?
Is it Masande?
Something like that, yeah. She gets the invitation, and she meets like a long lost like cousin or something. And then he's like, "Hey, this family is getting together for a wedding. Won't you come meet more of your family?" So she goes and sets it up. I really want to talk about it in depth because I kind of figured out kind of quick what was going on and what they were basing this off of. But I don't want to say it because I don't want to mess it up for a Christian.
Understandable.
So
I will watch it as soon as I am able. Excuse me. Soon as I'm able.
So I'm gonna leave it at that. I think it's getting a 5.3 on IMDb, 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 45% on Metacritic. I personally kind of liked it. I will say this: I liked up until the ending. The ending was a little lackluster for me and anticlimactic. I was not as big of a fan of the ending. I like what they're pulling the information from, though. I do actually really like that. Where they're drawing their like, I guess, lore or part of the story is really cool. And so I was into that, and then the ending happened, and I was like, could have ended it better. But I'm not going to go into details. It's on Netflix. Watch it, listeners. Let me know what you think about it. When Christian watches it, we'll go in depth on it, and he'll let you know if it's boo-boo shoes or not. I'm not going to say it's great. I like where they're pulling info. Ending is meh. Probably not even meh. I'm not a big fan of the ending. I think they could have done more.
Okay.
But I've been watching that, and then I've been playing some God of War. I have not beat it yet. Christian, I know you have. I'm like over 20 hours in. I just talked with the Nords, so I don't really know how far I am in the game. I've been doing side mission stuff too.
Talk to the Nords, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're halfway.
So I've got a bit to go. But yeah, that's what I've been into. That's what I've been watching. I'm trying to think. I think that pretty much covers it.
Technically, you're a little more than halfway, actually. Because if you're talking about just the story, then yeah, you're more than halfway for sure.
Like, okay, if you haven't played yet, I'm sorry. Don't listen for like 10 seconds. Pretty much what the Nords just told me I have to go kill a dude that's going to start Ragnarok, because if he's going to want to kill Atreus, and I'm going to kill him, and then it's going to start Ragnarok.
Do you remember his name?
The hell's his name?
Heimdall.
The dude that can like see your intentions.
Heimdall.
Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name. I just know he was annoying when I was Atreus and I couldn't hit him. Do what?
Yeah, in the Thor movies, he was the character played by Idris Elba.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So he was at the gates? Wasn't he at the gates?
He was at the gate, yeah. But remember, Atreus climbed the wall.
Yeah. I remember him climbing the wall.
Yeah. So yeah, he happened to be over there looking down on people and noticed Atreus was climbing up, so he waited for him.
Okay, but that's pretty much been what I've been into. I think I fairly covers it right now. I can't remember what else. I feel like there's other stuff, but they'll cover. What have you been into?
All right, so catching up with me, I've been doing a lot of the same stuff. I'm going to just jump in because I know that we're running low on time. So I'm going to start with games. We were just talking about God of War. I did finish God of War during the break. God of War, I think, is my favorite game of all time. God of War Ragnarok is I believe, my favorite game of all time now. The story was everything. And if you guys have played the game, then you know how important. Let me turn this light on. Then you guys know how important that the story really is. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There were so many little things in the story, in the way that Kratos speaks, in the way that Atreus speaks, Sindri, Brock, all these characters. There were so many things that I picked up on, that I noticed. There is something that happens towards the latter half of the story that I won't spoil for you now, Sin, but I knew that it was coming. Not because I read anything or watched anything, but because the way that the characters speak, I was like, well, this is going to happen, and this is going to be a callback, and this is going to be a callback. And I will say this to avoid dwelling on this, talking about it forever. When I got to the end of the game, I was just a mess. I was just crying. I was tore up, bro. I loved it. I loved it so much. It felt really good. This is one of the only times I've played a game, and I'm just like, if they don't make any more of these, I'm okay.
I don't think
this is good.
I don't think they're making, not at least in this this realm, or this, I guess in the Norse stuff. But I think I read somewhere they said they're not doing a trilogy. For I guess where they're at now. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen the end of it. I don't know. I mean, I kind of have an idea what will probably happen, but.
This is one of those games that would lend well to just putting out like some really, really well thought out DLC that could elaborate more on the ending of the game, but you don't really need it. Everything that you need is there. The story is perfect. I really, really love what happened in this game. I really love how you get there. I didn't really have many complaints. I know some people didn't like certain things. Some people wanted even more boss fights. Some people wanted more of this. Some people wanted Kratos to be more like he is in God of War, the original trilogy. But that's not who he is. Even when you play God of War from 2018, he's not that person anymore. And his entire reason for being is to not be that. And everybody in this game wants him to be that. And what happens at the end of the game makes so much sense. And that's all I have to say. I just really, really enjoyed it. I didn't know that we were going to be able to play as Atreus, so that was fun. His play style is so vastly different from Kratos. He's wild and aggressive, but also very tamed in a way. Not nearly as brutal. And one of the first things you do as Atreus, that doesn't ruin anything, one of the very first things that you do as Atreus is try to punch open a chest, and it doesn't work. And it's because Atreus isn't strong in that way, you know? And man, when you learn about Atreus and his abilities and what he's capable of in this game, it makes a lot of sense. And just pay attention, Sin, is all I can say. When you're playing this game and you're doing story beats, pay attention because everything makes sense, especially if you played God of War 2018. So many things. Like, one thing I can tell you is because you've played at least the beginning of the game at this point, because I know how far you are. Remember when you fight Thor at the beginning of the game and you stab him in the side, and then you see Thor later on and he hasn't healed from that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember being like, oh shit, I know why he didn't heal from that because it's in the first game. And did you remember that before I just tell it to you?
No.
Okay. So in the first game, when you first meet Yomingander, the world snake, when you first meet him, you throw your axe, the Leviathan axe, into the lake. And then when he emerges, he spits the axe back out at you, but it's been imbued, right? Remember that? So when it's imbued with poison or venom that comes from Yomingander's mouth, and that venom is deadly to Aesir gods. So because your axe has been imbued with that venom, Thor can't heal from that. That's why that is the only wound that he still has every time you see him later in the game. So like just little shit like that, they paid attention. They knew what the fuck they were doing, and they really gave a shit about this. So that game quickly shot up my list. When I got to the ending, I was like, I think this is my favorite game of all time. And I still feel that way. I'm a week removed from the game, and I'm on to the next game, which is the next topic we're going to talk about. I downloaded the Mass Effect trilogy, which was my favorite of all time. Everybody that knows me knows that Mass Effect 2 was my absolute favorite game of all time, but it has finally been dethroned by God of War Ragnarok, and I didn't expect that to happen. It was just a lovely surprise.
I'm surprised the Arkham games weren't your favorite over Mass Effect.
Arkham was great, and I loved those games, and I loved all of them. People had issues with two of those games. I loved all of them. I love those games. I love Batman. I'm a huge fan. But there was something about Mass Effect 2 that I can't ever forget. Like, the way that game sat with me, even when I beat it, when I started it, when I got halfway through the game, when I was doing the loyalty missions, all of that, there was something about the game that really stuck with me. And that type of game, I was like, this is what I'm into. I really like this. That's when BioWare really cemented itself as one of my favorite studios. So yeah, I agree. A lot of people say the same thing. So my top 3 right now, like, we'll save that for another time.
Save that
anyway,
one.
yeah. Been playing Mass Effect 1, going back through that game, and goddamn, that game has some bugs, and there's some shit in that game that I really don't like. But the game as a whole is nice, and I'm trying to get through it so that I can get to number 2.
Do you know
so
my favorite thing about Mass Effect was?
What's that?
Rolling decisions from 1 to 3. Stuff that I did in 1 and 2 impacting 3. I love that so much.
There's a decision that you make in the first game
wipe out
that doesn't
entire
come back
race
until
like choosing the wrong thing. Like, and
that's the Rachni.
That's a great series.
I just did that mission last night, and that's exactly what I was going to say. The Rachni, that mission, you can decide whether to let a Rachni. It's an alien race, right? These bug-looking aliens that are kind of telepathic, I guess. You can choose to eradicate that entire race, or to let the queen go, and she will start reproducing new Rachni. And everybody in the game is telling you that this is a bad decision to make because the Rachni are responsible for millions of deaths. But if you choose to save them, if you choose to let them go, rather, that decision doesn't come back until the third game. You don't see them. You don't talk about it in the second game, but in the third game they come back full force for part of the story, and it's great. And I'm trying to finish Mass Effect as much as I can, as quickly as I can, because next month in February, at the time of this recording in February, there are games coming out. Like, I know the new Hogwarts game's coming out, and
Hogwarts isn't coming out
my
yet.
partner wants to play that, and then I know. No, it comes out next month.
It got delayed.
When did it get delayed to?
Hold on. It got delayed. I want to say now it's in June, but I'll double check. Hogwarts Legacy release date. This says February 10th, but it got pushed back. I'm pretty sure. I want to say it's June. on Twitter. Is this what I'm looking for? Because the missus has been waiting on that. She's a big Harry Potter fan. Okay, this says April Switch. Where's the thing? Last I saw it was pushed back because it was thought a pretty big.
I haven't seen that, but I'll keep going while you're looking at that. So if that,
unless I'm wrong. Oh,
if that's
maybe it's just pushing back PS4, Xbox One. April 4th is PS4 and Xbox One. July 25th on the Switch. That's December 13th. December 13th still says February 10th for PS5 and Xbox Series S and X. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it didn't get pushed back. I thought it did.
Okay. So that's coming out, and my lady really wants to play that. Like, my fiance really, really, really wants to play that. So there's going to be a lot of Hogwarts Legacy going on in a couple of weeks, really. And then on top of that, I know the remake for Dead Space is coming.
27th?
Also
this month.
Yeah. Exactly. And I am so fucking ready for that game. I love Dead Space. The first two games I think are amazing, and I can't wait to play this. So I'm super excited about it. I want it in my life. So like I said, I'm trying to get through Mass Effect so I can get that. As far as like playing games, though, that's what I've been playing. And then I've watched a few things and read a few things. So I've been reading just general comics, because I'm a huge nerd. Obviously, you guys know that. So I've been reading comics and staying current with, the big two, of course, and then I've been reading some indie stuff as well. But I've been reading this new manga. I just started reading it, and it's called Ranger Reject. And Ranger Reject is essentially a Power Rangers comic. And from the first issue, it seems like we are following the villains in this Power Ranger type universe. So imagine for OG Power Ranger fans, because that's who I'm assuming I'm speaking to right now. Like, remember the Putties?
Yeah.
How like every episode the Putties would come out and get their ass whipped, and then a new monster would have to show up. Imagine the Power Rangers story being told from the Putties. That's what this comic is. And I'm really enjoying it so far. I've read the first issue, and then I started reading the second one. And I'm just really trying to take my time into the story and see how it goes and see what happens in it. And like I said, I'm just super excited to read this. And the first issue had me hooked. There's a lot of good information in it. And even the Putty-esque characters, right? They always talk about how they're doomed to always lose. The heroes have to always win. At the end of the day, they pull out a weapon, they do this thing, and they come together and something happens. And one of the Putties is just like, you know what? What if we win? What if we don't follow the story? What if we do something different? And they do. And it's crazy because the Rangers are like, wait, hold on. You're supposed to be dead. What's happening? And they do the same thing over again. And then the Putty that we're following, this main guy, is kind of like, I don't want to put that much effort into it. I'll just lose this time. And then at the end of the first issue, we kind of see that Putty being like, you know what? I think I'm going to change up the game. I think the villains are going to win. And we go into the next issue, which I won't really dwell on too much because I haven't finished it, and I need to move on. But definitely, if you guys are manga fans, look into Ranger Reject. It's definitely worth your time. The first issue, like I said, had me hooked. I read it last night. I was super into it. And I'll move on into some more things that I've been watching. I just started rewatching the Chucky season 1, the series, because it just dropped on Shudder actually. So if you guys have Shudder, you can watch the entire first season of Chucky. I've been watching that. I really enjoyed that first season, so it's really fun to go back and watch it again, especially knowing how it ends and why Chucky's doing what he's doing. So that's really fun if you haven't watched that. I started watching a show that many people have been talking about for years, and I just never gave the time of day. And now I understand why so many people are talking about it. And that show is Peaky Blinders.
Ooh, I need to watch that. I've been wanting to start it, and I just haven't.
Listen, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Whatever you're watching, stop watching it. Go watch Peaky Blinders. That's what I'll tell you. Like it's
can't.
Yes.
You gotta finish Breaking Bad first.
No, you don't. You need to go watch Peaky Blinders.
We've talked about it, and we haven't done it yet. I think we watched like the first 5 minutes, and she was like, I'm not feeling this right now.
I've done the same thing, and I finally gave it a shot, and then I've started binging the first season. First season, I think, is 6 to 8 episodes long. It's not very long at all. You get time with all the characters. You get time with the story. It's absolutely worth it. I'm on season 2 right now, episode 1. I just started, but I needed to, stop watching to do other things. So that's totally worth it. Another show that I've been watching, man. So as you guys know, I'm huge into BioWare and what they do, and I like all that stuff. And I talked about Mass Effect earlier. A sister game to Mass Effect, told in a completely different time, different realm, if you will, is Dragon Age. And on Netflix last year, 2022. What's up?
I think your camera froze. You're like frozen in place.
Oh man, that's
oh, there you go.
That's really weird.
You got lost in the Matrix.
There we go, back in it. I guess I did.
Oh, I did it again.
But
no.
Dragon Age is
okay.
But it is snowing here in Nashville, so that might be the cause of that. I'm actually looking at the weather right now. Like,
don't blame snow.
I mean, it's off and on, huh?
Don't blame snow. Don't be blaming that.
I mean, I gotta, like, the last time it snowed here, I lost power, so we'll see. But anyway, there's this show called Dragon Age Absolution. It came out December last year, 2022. It's only 6 episodes. It's 1 season long, and if I had to rate that show, I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. It's really good. It's an adult series. It's not for kids. And it puts you back in that Dragon Age world. If you've played the games, if you enjoy those games, it takes place after the game Dragon Age Inquisition. And I loved Dragon Age. I loved all of them. I love 1, 2, Inquisition. So I'm super big into that. I'm hoping that they release Dragon Age 3 at some point. I'm one of those, hopefuls. With that said, I did watch this 6-episode series and it was great. There's a couple of characters you follow. You have the mercenary character who's an elf. Her name is Miriam. Miriam is like the main character we follow, so you learn a lot about her over the course of those episodes. You have Fairbanks, who is a freedom fighter character, and he's very interesting to say the least. You have I think her name is Quieton, that's her name. I can't remember, but she's a Qunari mage, actually, and that's really cool to see a Qunari being a mage and not a warrior. So I really like that. She was actually my favorite character in the series, and if you give the show the time of day, you'll understand why she was my favorite. I love her to death, and I actually want to draw her now because of the show. Then you have Hera. Actually, she's a human mage. She's another one of the main characters you follow throughout the series. Roland, he's a human warrior character. He has these really nice dreads that are tied up in a pretty ponytail that I love throughout the show. His character design is really well done. And then you have Lachlan, who is a dwarf warrior character. So obviously you got your whole team set up. Everybody has their own skills, their own past history and whatnot. And over the course of those 6 episodes, you learn about those characters. You have the main villains. And even some of those main villains are like really, really cool as well. Like I ended up really liking one of the villainous characters because she's not really a villain. She just happens to be working on the side that is against our heroes. So I would absolutely recommend you watching Dragon Age Absolution if you haven't seen it already. Like I said, it's very short. The episodes are like 23 minutes apiece. You can finish it in a day if you want to. It is fantastic. Solid 8 out of 10 for me. It's really good. And then the last 2 things I want to talk about so you guys can fully catch up with me is I watched 2 other movies. I've watched a lot of movies since the break, but 2 I wanted to talk about. I watched the movie 47 Ronin for the first time with Keanu Reeves. The movie about him being like a samurai or whatever. Never seen it before. It was fun. I enjoyed the movie. I'm pretty sure he got some flack for, being a whitewashed character. And I totally understand that, especially with this day and age and the lens that we look through now, 2023. But they kind of wrote it into his character as well. So I didn't hate it too much. And he wasn't like the kind of Mary Sue character that could do everything. So I did enjoy that. But he did do a lot. And this movie was clearly made after John Wick, where Keanu's doing a lot of his own stunts and everything. So that's always fun to see. But there is another movie on Netflix that I watched. And I purposely watched 47 Ronin before I watched this movie that happens to be a loose sequel. And it's called Blade of the 47 Ronin. Now, Sin, I don't know if you've seen this on your Netflix queue or whatever. But this fucking movie, bro, garbage. It is straight boo-boo shoes.
Wow.
Like, legit. This movie was so bad. I got to the third act of the movie, like the last little bit of it, and I was like, fuck it. I cut it off. It was garbage. It was so bad. The acting is trash. The story is trash. The fight scenes look like they came straight from the CW, but like early CW, like
God.
before Arrow. It's not good. The CGI is trash. The main villain is a Power Ranger, like straight up an actor from Power Rangers. He is, if you guys are into Power Rangers, he was in Time Force. He was the Quantum Ranger. I think his name was Eric. But yeah, he looks like he's the Red Ranger, but he's darker red. So he's the Quantum Ranger.
The
He has
Maroon Ranger?
it doesn't fucking matter. He is the main villain in this show, and it is real bad. God damn, that was a way to end the new year, bro, or to come into the new year. I ended 2022 watching Blade of the 47 Ronin, and it was absolute shit. It was like boo-boo water. Like, it was terrible.
So I got two things.
What's up?
Two things based on the stuff from you. One of them you didn't talk about, but I forgot one thing to mention that I did during the break. And I caught up on some episodes of a podcast called The Horrorverse.
Oh.
Yeah. Listen to The Shining. I listened to it the other day.
Nice.
Which those
that's
don't know,
awesome.
Go check out Horrorverse Pod. It's Christian's pod with his partner Joe, and it's awesome. Go check it out. But me and the missus listened to that. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about was you brought up Hogwarts Legacy, and now that I know that it's coming out sooner than I thought, because apparently I just didn't pay attention to fine details and all the stuff, which I don't really care that it's getting pushed back for older gen consoles, because that doesn't really affect me. Sorry, people that have older gen consoles, but yeah, we weren't getting on that anyways. Are you going to be playing Hogwarts? Reason I ask is because I know we're going to have to get it, because the missus is a massive Harry Potter fan. Me, I don't like Harry Potter. I don't really care for it, but I'll probably play the game because it's like an open world wizardy. It may be fun. And so I don't know if there's multiplayer. I don't know if you can join people's games. I haven't really paid attention.
I didn't check on that, actually.
I don't know, but I was just curious. Are you going to be playing it as well?
So I thought about this, and I think I will play it. But it'll definitely be in the background, like I'll to be honest, yes, I'm going to play the game for sure. Like, I want to try it out, see if I like it. It won't
have multiplayer when it launches.
Okay. But to answer your question, yes, I will play the game. I don't know how often I'll be playing the game. I don't know if I'll try to complete the story, because I know it's mainly for, my fiance to play and to enjoy. But if she, there will be days where she doesn't want to play or she has stuff to do, and then I'll play it at that point. But yeah, I'll definitely play. I don't know how much, but I'll definitely play it.
It's going to be more for her. Like I said, I'm not a fan. I never really got into the movies and stuff, so that's something she's going to be way more excited for than me. But I was just curious. But yeah. So is there anything else?
No problem. There are a lot of other things that I've been doing that I wanted to catch you guys up on, but we are pretty much out of time. At least I am. So we'll get into those on the next episode following. And thank you for the plug.
And we have the last episode.
Yeah, absolutely. We do. We'll have that on the next episode as well. So thank you so much for the plug for Horrorverse. There will be new episodes coming out in the next couple of weeks. Some of those episodes we already recorded, but life happens and life's in the way, and the new year is coming with new challenges. So I'll keep you guys informed when I release those episodes, but they are coming.
And I'm going to start a counter of, what is it you say all the time? There's like a saying you say a bunch.
That being said.
Yes. I'm going to start a counter. The Shining, I think it was like 4 before we even got into like the context of any of it.
I think she called me out on it at one point.
I was just like, dang, Christian.
On the episode.
All right.
Yeah, I literally have I have a little notebook right here when I'm recording those episodes, this little sticky notepad, and it literally just has on there, don't say it, like over and over again. And so like I look at this when I'm talking, and I'm like, well, with speaking of, like, I'll try to say something else. So, like, we'll see if I stick to that or not. Probably not.
Christian, with that being said, I believe it's time for the first last call of the new year, is it not?
It is.
All right.
It
So
absolutely
you know what that
is.
means, ladies and gentlemen?
Pass the whiskey.
Get your
Whiskey!
whiskey is ready. Last call. And I believe Christian has it for us to start the new year. He has put some thoughtfulness into this question. So let's see what he's got for us.
I do. So the last call question for me this time around is as simple as, what do you want to see the most for the podcast this year in 2023?
What do you mean, what do I want to see? Like,
what is the one thing that you are looking forward to seeing the most this year on the podcast?
the next chapter of it. I want to see it grow. I want to see it hopefully continue in a upward trajectory. I would like to start implementing new things to the podcast. Last year was pretty much us just essentially getting our formula, getting our format, like getting comfortable doing what we do, I think, and kind of fine tuning it. And now I'm hoping we'll expand. Obviously, we've made changes now with bringing you on video wise to hopefully add that dimension for the YouTube audience that watch it. Shout out to the YouTube audience. And just to continue to grow. You know, I want to see the numbers hopefully go up. I would like to get more interaction with our community out there. And there's some ideas I have for 2023 for the podcast, such as doing this live. I don't really know how that would work with the current setup and stuff. That would be kind of interesting. That'd be something we'd have to work on. But I would love to do it live on Twitch, maybe, you know. And like we've talked about, possibly opening up. You know, obviously we would have to ignore chat for 99% of the podcast while we're recording, just to stay on topic, but possibly opening up and letting last call come from chat. So you come into the chat and talking to us and dropping a question or something. Something we're thinking about, we're talking about doing that, as well as bringing on guests and stuff like that. More lists, more topics, bringing on guests, interviewing some people, talking to people on here. From all over. It could be artists, it could be musicians, it could be streamers, it could be athletes, you know, whatever. Just no real, I guess, limitation on what we could do. Just continue to grow it, expanding the podcast, and improving what we put out, the quality content we put out, and hopefully growing on the socials. I need to do a better job of getting that all scheduled and going. But that's what I like to do, just continue to grow and continue to build. What about you? What is your aspiration for 2023 for the podcast?
For this podcast in particular, I'd like to see more lists, us tackle more lists. We usually have a lot of fun with that, and we always think about lists to do while we're recording an episode like we are now, but don't write it down. So that's why I have taken the liberty of writing that down for the next time. But I want to see more of that. And as far as my own podcast goes over the Horrorverse, I just want it to be more of like a sister podcast. You know, you listen to that when you listen to this one, and you get something from us both on each podcast, and interactions with people. I love when people send messages. I read everything. I read all the comments, I read all the messages. I love when people recommend things. That lets me know what you guys want us to watch, and we'll watch pretty much whatever. We just need, to know ahead of time what it is so we can find it, buy it, rent it, whatever it is we're going to do. But yeah, man, I love suggestions. That's one of my favorite things about any podcast is when you're able to, or when you receive suggestions from the people who are actually listening to it. So I love that so much. Thank you guys for doing that.
Oh, nice. And before we go, I wanted to do a quick shout out to a longtime viewer of my stream and a supporter of the podcast. He is the reason we are able to do this with Christian now and have Christian on video, and that is your fellow Mass Effect enthusiast in the one and only Yobi. Yobi, shout out to him.
Yobi.
He hooked Christian up and brought him to life on our screens. So huge shout out to him. He is a legend. He's awesome. Fantastic person. Yobi is the dude. He's the man.
Yobi, thank you so much, man. Like, I know that, people say, oh, thank you, this is great all the time. But, like, seriously, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, this wouldn't have been happening had it not been for you. So thank you so much, brother. Obviously, I'm going to use it the best of my ability. I'm going to make myself proud. I'm going to make you proud. I'm going to make the rest of the fans proud as well. So thank you guys so much. We love it.
That's right. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. And it's time to tell you where you can connect with us at. in 2023. Don't forget, new podcast episodes. We're back. The hiatus is over. Every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Time. Apple, Spotify, Overcast, Anchor.fm. Pretty much anywhere podcasts are available, you can check out Sippin' With Sin. And then don't forget, on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, at Sippin' With Sin, Sippin with Sin. Go drop a follow. Drop your last call question. If you want to be featured, that's how you reach us. DM us. Hit us up with that last call question. Don't forget to join the Gilded server, gilded.gg/Sinister pack. There's a whole damn section about Sippin' With Sin. Check it out. You can drop. There's a little area that says last call question. If you're on YouTube, you're seeing it. I'm showing you like this. Last call question. You click that, and then you can drop your question. That's how you get featured on an episode. There's also the Sinister Tales section where you can submit a scary story. We got to get back to doing that this year and going over spooky stuff, whether it's a personal story or something you found on the internet. You can find me on the socials, Twitter, Instagram, at IamSinister TV. Go drop a follow. You can hit me up with your last call question or just tell me, stuff from the podcast. I love to hear feedback. Also find me streaming on Facebook Gaming, fb.gg/IamSinisterTV, twitch.tv/IamSinisterTV, and TikTok at IamSinisterTV, as well as YouTube content 5 to 6 days a week, including Let's Plays, shorts, all kinds of stuff, and the podcast. That's right. The podcast goes on my personal YouTube at IamSinister over on YouTube. Go drop a follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thumbs up. New podcast episodes, the video versions are live every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central. Same time the audio version's live. So go show it some love. And there's usually, on Wednesday afternoons, I think there's a podcast short that goes live as well. So there we go. Christian, where can the lovely folks find you?
You guys can currently find me anywhere at Horrorverse Pod. That is anywhere you get your social media at Horrorverse Pod. You can also listen to the Horrorverse anywhere you get your podcast. We are available everywhere, including iTunes. So say what's up, listen to an episode, suggest something. We're always around. Thank you so much.
There we go. And that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. You don't have to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. We'll see you guys next week for a fun episode of more Catch Up and The Last of Us. Christian, shut it down.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the first episode this year of Sipping with Sin. We love it. We read all your comments. Leave them down below. Tell us what's up. And guys, you know those 3 words that I always tell you. Say it with me. Don't get gutted.
See you guys next week.